Welcome back, everybody, to the LCS Challengers League promotion tournament. We got Game 2 of Ole Miss and Winthrop coming your way. Winthrop University, somehow, someway, won that game 1.
I mean, I don't want to, self-promo my Twitter, but, right here. Anyway, you can go see the screenshot I posted where Winthrop won from there, and I still don't know how that happened. And now, Ole Miss, hey, they're an experienced team. I think they've been through a lot. It's really going to be on them to just band together as a squad and just put that one out of their minds and play the next game. And that's not easy to do, especially when your backs are up against the wall.
The one thing that, Winthrop has been able, that Ole Miss has been able to do is bounce back from adversity. Every time they, took a big punch, they came back looking better than before. I will say that came week to week, and so maybe they're going to need a little bit of extra, expedited learning here for this game number 2, because now one more loss and they're going to be out here for the rest of the promotion tournament, and their split will be over, at least on this side, because they still have CeeLo, of course.
It's tough. I mean, I really think that Ole Miss should have pushed the end on that one push they had, but regardless what you think about that decision, you have to ignore that until the end of the series. You have to focus on what's in front of you. That's going to be the next draft, where we still have to focus about NACL anymore, because he's gone.
Yeah.
They're going to have the power of the dragon,
I think we could pull up the banned champions that are available now for both of the teams, as we are in Game 2 of Fearless. As you said, Cuppy, no more Aurelion Sol for Sword.
For one team.
There's still a lot of champions that he is very good at, but, that's kind of been Ole Miss's kryptonite at this point.
If the Land Sharks want to play the Air Dragon, they can, but we'll see if that happens or not. That said, we are on the draft 2. Ole Miss did drop that game, so they have choice of side select, and they have gone for blue side. I think another big pick. Shogo's not... I don't know Shogo for a Jinx player, but Jinx has been really emerging as a dominant pick in this meta, so... I expect Shogo to play the lane boys usually. Jinx is an option though, where this is a team that really funnels Shogo. And if you're playing those reset champs for Shogo, it can be quite good.
Another history lesson here from Grapes. The one time that Ole Miss did beat Winthrop in a game, it was with Shogo on the Jinx. So maybe that could end up actually coming through. We see a lot of AD carry bans, not surprised. Also, respect towards Swords Nico. You do not want him to play that champion. Ole Miss very rightfully banning that away. We'll see what other champions end up getting banned. I would expect Winthrop to go for another AD carry here, and we'll see what Shogo does after that.
Potentially, you can take away that Jinx if you're worried about it. I would not blame Winthrop if they wanted to do that, but nope, they're going to take away Stray's Rumble. Potentially signaling that they want to play an immobile AD themselves, and with Jinx on the board, of course, Winthrop can't grab that themselves. Orianna is up. It will be the pick for Uncle Sam.
Yeah, he played really well on this champion. Was honestly the champion that I associated most with the improvement that we saw from Uncle Sam from Qualifier 1 to Qualifier 2. Played some really good games on it against teams like Lotus as well as Wang's Revenge in their matches to get them to finals weekend, to lock themselves into the promotion tournament. So happy to see that. We also see the Rise here for Sword. Now, this is something that we saw yesterday, and I know you have some thoughts about it, Cubby.
Yeah, so I think Rise for me, I'm starting to see Rise. There are some things I like about Rise. For me, I think you really need to be able to play Rise into a side lane. And I think that skirmishing becomes very important when you do draft a Rise. It's funny because I saw Winthrop, actually, they drafted Rise Renekton, which when Artemis was on EG, they played a lot of that with JoJo and Impact, and they were very good at that comp. I like Rise when you are able to attack a side lane because you can play very fast, and that's something that Ole Miss will have to be wary of in this draft. Renekton won't be an option for Winthrop, but Denethor has other champs. I'm thinking about the Jax or even a Gnar if he gets counterpicked. They can kind of use Sword to play out 3 lanes and play fast and find those skirmishes. It's not the best at team fighting, though. So Ole Miss, if they do go for Orianna plus Jinx, they should already have the advantage in team fight, kind of regardless of what's picked afterwards. It's going to be on Winthrop to find advantages in smaller skirmishes and use the priority that they should have and should take in drafts, especially on this red side, to play around the big 5v5 that Ole Miss is already posturing for.
You mentioned, all the top laners potentially for Denethor. Was very good on Camille as well throughout his history, so maybe we'll see that. We got a full Wombo comp in the first rotation here for Ole Miss with Icelandic locking in the Jarvan.
Yeah, not surprised to see Lee Sin grabbed, as that's what I was expecting with the Rise Lee. More marksman can be taken away to try and protect this Jinx now. Grapes, that could be big, and I think for Winthrop, maybe trying to deny a couple of those support pairings. If they want to get rid of Nautilus, they're going to do that here. I think that's a good ban. And potentially even an Alistar if they really want to prevent Rhino from having that big wombo. But for me, I see Rhino. I think it might be a good game to deny that Thresh that Rhino was so damn good at.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I was even thinking like some enchanters that could help buff Shogo up a little bit, but the Thresh, another one that can provide him so much protection, especially against some hard engage like the Rel and the Lee Sin. Right now, you're looking probably towards either the 80 carries or maybe pinching Denethor's champion pool a little bit more. Mobility, very solid on the Zeri. That's something he's been very comfortable on ever since he started playing in competitive, and so not surprised to see that one off the board.
Probably a Senna. I do think that Xayah gets very heavily deprioritized given that Jinx outranges, and also that Jarvan exists. So I'm expecting that or Aphelios taken off the board to try further attack mobility here.
Aphelios is another champion that mobility is very, very solid on, but there's a lot of options for what could be taken away here in this final ban of game number 2's draft. I think it's going to be a Kaisa, so wanting to prevent a dive in onto the backline carries, that's another alternative for a composition that Winthrop could go for.
Yeah, and if you are mobility, I do think Dash is, like, if there's any game to come out with Lucian and Lucian pairings, it might be this one. I would really dislike Xayah, given that I think that Xayah would really struggle into a Jarvan. And I will say, with Lucian now, is it Lucian Rel bot lane? Because that's kind of tough. Like, you don't really get the benefit of Lucian's passive, not nearly as much as if you're playing a Lucian Nami or something like even like Lucian Lulu or Lucian Milio. It's kind of been pushed down the chain. So I'm really interested to see how this rounds out.
Oh, Maokai also going to be hovered here. This is something that that Rhino actually played a little bit of in the qualifiers. He had a really crazy highlight where he like canceled a dash on a turret and ended up getting a double kill. This is something that he knows a lot about. He knows the tech. This is going to be Rhino's support pick, and we'll see what Stray ends up selecting here. Could it potentially, Cuppy, be a Lee Sin? Well, is this the patch that Rel jungle got nerfed, or is that next patch?
Let me check. I got the patch notes up because I was so used to 14.5 and then I already read 14.7. It's next patch.
Okay, so it could be maybe Lee Sin solo lane, Rel jungle.
Lee top. I'm just gonna say it's doable, but I don't think we're gonna see that from Denethor. I expect to see him go for something like Cassante here.
When looked very good yesterday, or the last time he played it. So. Would be possible. I know that Denethor in general is okay with going with things that like maybe are self-counters because he knows he's very good at the champion. Instead, the Gnar going to be the answer. This is a very standard 1v1, and I don't think much is going to happen now.
He played this really well in the Lawrence's Rek'Sai, and I know Denethor is the Gnar player. Like, when Denethor first came onto the scene, it was like he was the Camille one-trick. And then if Camille was banned, he played Gnar. And then if Gnar was banned with Camille, he played Sejuani. And he was kind of this old-school player where he had a really strong tier list of what was good or not. And it's been fun seeing Denethor evolve into this very strong competitive top laner because he was individually very impressive on the Camille, the Gnar, and some of those early champs. That's why people got excited about Denethor, because they're watching him play like, holy cow, this guy's got hands. He knows how to play these matchups. Like, he can just kind of expand his champ pool. This guy's going to be a really good player. And he's really done that at Winthrop and emerged as one of the best top laners outside of Challengers League. So I think Denethor has had a good tournament so far. Stray did a really nice job of handling him in that lane where he got counterpicked. Now we're going to have to see if Denethor can handle the Renekton when he gets his counter.
Hey, I mean, it's nice to expand the champion pool, but it's also nice to go back to what you know best. And so Denethor on the Gnar to try and send Winthrop into the next stage and have their rematch against Blue Otter. We're on number 2.
All right, really early on. Wards around mid lane. I see Lee Sin rise. I'm looking for level 3 action and for Winthrop to really set Uncle Sam behind. So let's see if Uncle Sam and Ole Miss can really set up to protect their mid lane Orianna. Because if Flash does get blown early, Winthrop's ability to attack mid with their comp it's pretty easy for them to really try and punish.
Once again, back to the mid lanes. I mean, these are very safe laners for Uncle Sam and Sword in general, the Orianna and the Rise, but with Jarvan and Lee, always try to impact that mid lane. So whoever gets there first could burn a flash, get the TP out early, and that could really be a big difference maker because Uncle Sam, when he's able to get ahead and or at least stay even in these lanes, he becomes a big problem on this Ori once we get to the team fighting stage.
Yeah, and I will say that, like, the old Rise Ori match, it was very much like Rise wins side lanes. Ori can win, like, the team fights, right? But it's kind of changed because the Rise build now, you don't go Everfrost anymore into Fimbulwinter. You're going for the Roa into Seraphs, which is really big.
Oh, wow.
He's dead.
Already going in with the second proc of the W. Rhino is just going to go down. First blood picked up by Chookies once again in the bottom lane. There's a really nice sequence that resulted in that kill.
Not very respectful there of Rhino. Not used to seeing that from him. Rhino, of course, has been on this stage before. Was a sub for Team Liquid when Ayla was subbing in for the lock-in tournament in 21. And also did a number on a couple teams as Zeus Gaming back when he was playing with them, which was quite fun. Rhino's always been someone that's been on my radar. Has a very fun stream as well. He gets taken out there early. I will say that so far this Rise lane, Sword has played for a little bit of push. This makes it a little bit harder for Lee Sin to get in. But they still do have a ward where they're trying to see if, at least if Jarvan wraps around. But it looks like Jarvan's actually going to go for an early base into a longsword buy to help with some of that dueling. So we have seen some junglers start to adapt this. And it does make you a lot stronger if you are going to skirmish early on.
That extra buy, go back to the bottom side of the map, and I think Shogo, you know, if at any point he needs help, right now would be a good point for it with his support already given over a kill. See how easy that gank will be. Winthrop have a lot of wards around that bottom side. They also have the Lee Sin there to hover, and even though Mobility and Chookies are pushed in, they're very safe right now in the 2v2.
Sword actually didn't TP back to lane, so he might save it for later. I expect Sword to try and trade heavily as he has tier advantage now in the Ori, and uniquely with Rise, that does help give you a little bit of extra trading power as well.
Back here in this bottom lane, I mean, Mobility and Chookies, we were wondering what the Lucian Rel would look like, right? And
yeah.
I guess that's the memo. You
got a free start.
Lock him up and. Okay. Well,
yeah, I guess it got a free start. We don't really like. I don't want to use this game to be like, oh, this is how the lane goes. But at the moment, we might see Icelandic get involved. He does have that long sword. Oh, the chain not found.
Advance comes in. Chookies gets bumped the wrong way, so Icelandic does not land the flag and drag. Instead, holding his spells for now in case anyone goes a little bit too far forward. Just a Sonic Wave issued, and Winthrop gonna back away.
That will mean that bot Crab goes over to Lee Sin. Is Icelandic gonna at least clear out a ward? Protect Shogo a little bit. Both lanes staying here. Maokai can somewhat sustain back. A bit of an awkward trade as he's going to use both sweeps to get in here. And honestly, if I'm Lee Sin, like I could think about maybe going for mid. There was a nice ward from Uncle Sam over the wall, but no, Icelandic's just going to spend more time. And I think Wakau's done his homework too. This is Ole Miss. He's got to be bot, right?
Yeah,
That's how it is.
He flashes forward already. Just an advance comes out. Icelandic picks up the first kill, but it will be a trade 1-for-1. Shogo's excited, finds one onto Mobility, and he finally gets on the board. Winthrop go right through the bluff of Ole Miss, but Ole Miss just plays the hand better.
Yeah, Mobility's first set of double shots went into a minion instead of the Maokai. That did delay things just enough, and now Wakau's going to try and hold this. Not going to be the case. We'll have to burn the ward. And it's going to pick up some of these creeps because, you know, it might as well go to him instead of no one.
Yeah, so that was a good play by Ole Miss. Rhino finding the angle to go back in. Icelandic with a double flag and drag.
This guy's a maniac for sitting bot. I mean, if APA is in this game, he's definitely all chatting at the Jarvan. Let's just put it that way. You can see the first double auto did go towards the minion wave, and then Mobility, he did use the dash. So easy for Icelandic to find flag and drag. Shogo using the resets to cruise his way on out of there. And Shogo, all of a sudden, he's 1-0-1. He's got the better base, and that unfortunate level 1, thanks to all the time invested from Icelandic bot, has turned into a lead for Ole Miss and Shogo.
And remember, we said that this is the composition that would scale better in terms of team fights, and all of that is off the back of Shogo getting a couple of items on this Jinx and really is going front to back with Uncle Sam by his side. Winthrop, we're expecting them to try to turn more towards side laning as this game progresses, as Denethor is going to be a big part of that. Right now, he's not level 6, so has to jump away before approaching Meganar. Astray will use his ult to get a reset in.
You can see Lee Sin Jarvan getting some trades. I really like what Icelandic did there. Just the Renekton's strong. He took one grub, and then he's going to return to his jungle, and he has the potential to go back. He's losing his respawn Raptors here. I would love to see the artist formerly known as Trickster, I should say, the jungler for Winthrop. Yeah, he's going to do the dragon. So this is the right timer to do the dragon. I think it's where they can't have push and he can get in here without the threat of Icelandic being in. But props to Icelandic. I think that he's spent a lot of time bot, but I think this recovery off the reset from him has actually been quite decent.
It's been like the trade-off, right? That Ole Miss has had to deal with a lot. Like,
yeah,
and put a lot of resources bot, and then how can you stay alive across the rest of the map? And so far, Icelandic's done a good job with that. is even in farm, a level up actually currently in that jungle matchup, and has an opportunity to come back towards the bottom lane after clearing things out top and making sure that the grub advantage doesn't get out of hand.
Oh, Denethor's about to pop Mega. There's no ult on Stray.
Immediately comes back in with an R back. Stray in a lot of trouble. Does have the flash, but I don't even know if that's going to save him. Slice and Dice comes out, and the Croc will be able to live, but Denethor getting a nice trade.
That is big, though, because it's after the TP was burned from Renekton, so Stray's going to try to stay, but now with Lee Sin working his way back up towards that top side, the other two grubs look like they could be going over to Winthrop. Nice, as they did take that first dragon. You can see Sword with the Rise. He's going to drop this wave. They're going to try and punish this Croc.
Well, Morp is going to come out. It is a cannon wave here. Stray is going to go straight forward onto Sword. He's taking the tower, has to flash out, but Denethor will secure the kill. Ooh, the Rocket's not going to find anything.
A good attempt from Stray. That's the only way he can get out of that play, is if he does go for the flash stun onto Sword, but Sword matches with a flash of his own, and Denethor able to finish off the kill. Does take the last tower shot, but that's a-okay. Nice roam from Sword. There was an answer from Uncle Sam, so he doesn't get a true advantage in the mid lane, and Sword, that first timer on the Rise, that first Realm Warp, used very well from Winthrop.
And that's a kind of the start of what we want to see from Winthrop throughout this game, right? It's playing the side lanes well, using the Realm Warp to get yourself in numbers advantages. You know, Denethor started things off with a really nice trade, and it ended with them getting a kill. And now, you know, in a really good position with all their side lanes set up.
It's fun for me because, like, Sword has improved so much as a player, but this is part of the Sword that I remember when he was with TSM. He was playing the Rise and trying to really impact the map. It's just, the issue with Sword back then is that he sometimes dropped too much for his team. Like, he didn't have enough faith in himself to actually carry. I know that he got access to this wave, and Uncle Sam didn't stay. He tried to match, but it's nice to see Sword combine some of the improvements that he's made generally just as a player and leveling up himself, but with some of the expertise that I first knew him for, even going back 2-3 years ago when he was with TSM.
Now Denethor, another really nice trade onto Stray, stuns him with the wall up. The boulder comes out. Stray has to pop that dominance, but now Icelandic is here. They force the flash out of Denethor to prevent him from getting knocked up, and now Ole Miss can push on this top side.
That flash was so good from Denethor because he predicted the fact that Icelandic would be going for the EQ flash into ult. Does not connect. And now, with the jungler being spotted top, it's a free timer for the Lee Sin to try and affect the bot lane. If you can get in and answer Shogo, it's rather significant. That said, not going to try and put too
the
much.
Ignite as well. That's just almost a full kill. Mobility flashes forward, and that's an easy 2v2 kill for the bot laner of Winthrop. Shogo looking for a response. Remember, still has that Mega Death Rocket, but not going to find anything on the trade. Another one going towards mobility.
I think they were scared about Sword getting involved in the bot lane as well, but so the TP comes down from Uncle Sam, but now he's going to drop another mid wave. So he's going to be down about 3 mid waves, and does see the red buff get taken by the Lee Sin. As Uncle Sam trying his best to play for the team, but that TP for me, not really warranted, and Winthrop continued to find small leads. I do want to credit Wakao as well. The first Lee Sin game he played was really good in this tournament, as he's going to get jumped on, maybe comboed.
Yeah, there's a shockwave. Cataclysm over the top. He's able to use the ward hop and a flash to escape, and it looks like there's not a lot of tools just yet. There's the zap, there's the flag and dragon. Icelandic gets back on the board for Ole Miss. That is a desperately needed kill, getting a little bit more into Shogo as well.
I will say Shogo did burn both sums for that, so yes, the kill goes to him. But his ult was coming back off cooldown. He just wanted to make sure he got it before Lee Sin got his abilities back up. This is with a Lucian plus a Rel, something that if I'm Winthrop, I'm really looking to punish. And look at the items that Lucian has right now. Already has the free boots in his inventory and a Kraken Slayer boot. That's one way to try and get through this big front line. As Rhino.
They're looking for something now, bot. The Magnustorm comes out. Rhino just went too far forward without proccing a spell. There comes another Q. The ultimate just used as he dies, but it does stun up 2. Gets Shogo 1. Looking for another one, but here comes Sword. Realm Warp comes out, and the Rise is looking for Shogo to try and go down. Wakao goes forward. Not going to be able to find anything. Icelandic buying some space and will allow for his AD carry to try and escape. There comes one more spell from Sword, but Shogo going to be able to get on out, but Winthrop really take advantage of that fight.
He's got to go all the way out, though, as Winthrop, at rotation from them a little bit sooner to boot. I don't know if that would have found the kill on mobility, but mobility continues to find more and more gold in his inventory. I love the support from Sword, too. These first 2 Realm Warp scrapes have been so effective from this Rise.
Found a kill on both of them. He's 0-0-2. That's what he does best, helping out his team. Let's take another look here. Rhino, I mean, he should have maybe procced the ulti earlier, and he just eats up a ton of damage before even doing anything.
And yeah, I mean, Rhino is having a tough one here on this Maokai. From here, I actually thought this was going to be kind of trouble for mobility. But you could see his sword. He dropped that mid-wave again. Uncle Sam doesn't have the TP to answer this time, so Winthrop know they have the numbers advantage. A really nice dash from mobility to get out of the EQ from Icelandic. Make sure that he ends up surviving and is able to finish this play and push. So, well played. Mobility's Lucian, even without any enchantresses, it's been quite good. As they really have been able to piece together enough things to really close the gap and open things up for mobility, who has been cashing in early.
Yeah, I know. I remember mobility played with this Lucian a lot back in summer. Haven't seen it as much, at least like in the second half, with it being a little bit more out of the meta, but obviously still very strong on it. Has that full Kraken Slayer, as you mentioned, and has a lot of prio in this lane. Shutdown on his head as Winthrop going try and take down this second dragon. Shogo still in the area, but Icelandic around as well.
And this map state right now for Winthrop's really nice because we're now at the point where I feel like Gnar is not under real kill threat from Renekton anymore and will win the War of Attrition in the top side. So you can really put all your focus as Winthrop matching the rest of the map where you have a Lucian that's ahead and Ryze is in okay shape right now, up a few waves on the Orianna. So I think things ended up working out pretty well here for Winthrop thanks to the play of mobility and Shookies in the spot side. And now we'll see if Rhino and Icelandic can get in here to contest this dragon. Might be a flip.
There's the Nature's Grasp. Teleport also comes in. Ole Miss want this fight. They lock down Chookies. Megadeth Rocket comes out but does not find the execute, but Uncle Sam will come in and that will be Chookies to fall first. It's a 1-for-1 as Stray will fall. Dragon going over to the Eagles, but look at the shockwave on the other side. Reset. Ole Miss pushing forward. Shogo's reset. Looking for Denethor as he's running away in mini form. One more auto. Not going to be able to take the Gnar down, and look at the damage done on the other side. Sword still healthy. Well, cow dashing forward. Now it's a 2v2. The Thunder Sky keeping the Jarvan up for a little bit longer. Shogo gets one. That's a shutdown. The Choppers will take the Lee Sin away, and Shogo gets himself a double kill.
That's a crazy fight. I need a replay because I don't know what happened during half of that. There was fights everywhere at different points of the Rift. As let's just take inventory of what went down. I gotta say, look, how on this Lee Sin, I thought played this out pretty clean for the most part. He's gonna get in here, take this dragon. He gets out of the ult from Icelandic, then smites this away, gets a great kick onto Shogo, but the shockwave from Uncle Sam was so big, and Sword wasn't able to follow up onto Shogo, so the execute wasn't there. On the back half, Shogo, he's getting to work, trying to take down Denethor. Doesn't find him in the end, and Wakao and Sword just end up doing work as this Lee Sin Ryze duo. The Thunder Sky ended up being pretty big, kept Jarvan tanky enough where they couldn't just directly focus fire on the Jinx. Shogo does clean it up. Now we got to see where the gold's sitting at as we get out of here. That was a massive fight, and guess what? You would never guess who's sitting on top of the gold in this game, Grapes. No way. Would have never expected Shogo to have the most. Oh, okay. Looks like Stray fell on the top side to Denethor, and Macau that will be the Rift Herald going over to Winthrop as this Lee Sin continues to be a really big pick in this tournament for Winthrop. And the artist formerly known as Trickster. I gotta say, I remember his Viego being quite good. I didn't remember the Lee Sin being this good. It's been really fun to watch him play this Lee.
Doing good on the Lee Sin, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of good Lee Sins just around tier 2 and 3. I feel like almost every jungler could just pull it out. This guy, no exception. He's going to be able to pick up this Rift Herald for his team as well. Denethor, after getting that kill onto Stray, able to pick the first tower of the game. And after the Rift Herald goes down, Icelandic looking to try and fight. Teleport comes in from Uncle Sam in addition to that, but now he's suddenly caught out. Chookies with a beautiful crash down, and Uncle Sam just a little bit too far with that teleport. Now Winthrop in a 5v4, looking for something. Realm Orb comes out. That's going to be 2 sent in. Flag and Drag lands onto both. Stray still arriving to the fight now. Shogo out of it though, and now Ole Miss just have to run for the hills. It's 2 more for the Eagles.
I think Ole Miss were really trying to play around that Rift Herald and denying it, but Winthrop end up finding the timers still off the back of this Lee as he does pick up that Rift Herald in the end. And now after a 1 fight, you're probably gonna get 2 crashes here in mid.
Here comes first proc. I will say, we've seen a lot of these heralds getting utilized wrong, or like, you know, the 80 carry accidentally clicking on it. We haven't seen that so far today, and I'm happy about that.
I mean, I saw the best herald use of all time when Yukino dropped it immediately and used it to get out of depth charge. That was the most 5-head thing I've seen. But we got to return to this fight as Lee Sin just really trying to buy time for his team to get here. This TP from Uncle Sam ended up being errant. Really good CC chain from Chookies with Sword and mobility just pumping the Orianna. I don't think Ori expected the carries to be behind him. And then I love how Sword pushes the pace of the fight. This fight's over. Like, Shogo flashes out. Stray's already kind of behind on this Renekton. Was like, I don't want any part of this. To the supportive pieces, Ole Miss left to the wayside. And I know that there is a lot of gold on the shoulders of Shogo, but there is a lot more gold on the shoulders of Winthrop that he's going to have to fight through in this game.
He's suddenly 3.5k. I mean, it was pretty close for the last couple of minutes, but Winthrop over the last couple of minutes got 2 towers. They got the Herald, and they suddenly start to stack this gold in their favor. Specifically, Sword looking very strong right now. Mobility approaching his second item. That's going to be the Essence Reaver to get a little bit more damage on that combo. And Ole Miss going to have to be a little bit more creative. We said that they win the 5v5s, but right now, with the gold allocated in the places that they are, I don't know if that's true.
That's a good point. And I think it makes it so difficult for them to play out these sides, too, because this Ryze is so fed. And it looks like he's actually... No, he's going for a Seraphs. Okay. This, I mean, once he finishes the Seraphs, it will be evolved, right? And Ryze, at this point... You're stacking up those double, stacking items. If you get there early, you can be a really big problem. And Ryze also kind of doubles, even with this build, as a little bit of front line to not go down the Jinx. So I know Ryze has to close the gap. But Winthrop have so many tools to help get Ryze and Lucian in these fights where they can be effective. We'll see if Sword can really step up, as this is a game where Sword has been stepping up the entire time. But as you mentioned, Grapes, they are going to have to find ways to get out of this team fight. Ryze has all the lead on his shoulders now at this half of the game. And it's going to be on him to sack his health bar appropriately to dodge out of the resets from Jinx. At the moment, though, Ole Miss don't want to try the team fight. Going to play for some gold on Renekton, as they will trade out outer turrets. Looks like Denethor is going to clean up the bot lane. It will be a drop of the Dragon, but for Ole Miss, I don't think they can win a fight right now. So I think this is the only play they have available to them.
Will be sole point for Winthrop as they get the Ocean Drake. That will be something that Ole Miss are going to have to fight for in about 5 minutes. But for now, they can try to get Shogo to that IE. They can try to get Uncle Sam to the second item. And hold out hope that eventually this Wombo combo is going to work out. They can find maybe a pick or two. That could help. This maybe could get a little dicey as Shogo is going to get ulted on here by 4 members with the Realm Morph. Icelandic has the Flag and Drag out as well. And just a little bit of extra pressure that Sword's throwing out there.
Doesn't need to anything but the Ghost Shogo. That's okay, though. I appreciate how, again, Sword is just trying to fish. And he'll go return to this bot side where Sword try and find a little bit of extra farm for him. And this game, it's kind of slowed down a bit, Grapes, but what I'm looking for from Winthrop is something really unique that you can do with Ryze, playing these side lanes, that you can send Ryze to tail your solo laner and then try and get involved, and vice versa. Given how strong Ryze is on the sides, I know that right now Denethor and Sword can play out 3 lanes rather well, but I want to see them try and still go on the attack, because Ori, Renekton, and sides, they're pretty behind, and Ori, in her case, is very vulnerable. And this is one where Winthrop, once they get the sides pushed in, they have the ability to really play off each other with these 2 solo laners. So I would love to see that execution come in from a team that I think has been executing very well in this game.
You can see Winthrop, they sacrifice that mid lane tower if the Rhino throws out the Nature's Grasp, and in response, they have Denethor pushing in onto this tier 2 top lane, and now getting a little bit frisky with Icelandic in his own jungle. He has to use the EQ to escape, and now you see the pressure just continuing to mount here for Winthrop as they, I think, have a good chance to take this tower down itself.
Yeah. And so what they did, they got pushed in both side lanes. They played the Denethor on the strong side. They denied the blue buff, which is now global for the team. And they shifted Sword up to actually hit this. So while Stray's catching bot, he's going to have a push here. Winthrop on that turn, that timer, got so much for themselves. That's some of the solid team play that I've come to expect out of this collegiate squad. And I think that a lot of people, I mean, rightfully give the coach Artemis some credit, who has a history of working with good teams, especially at higher levels, but not enough credit for the players on the Rift that consistently call this on every game. No one else has really been playing Ryze to an effective level, and I know that Winthrop did fall in their first series, but this is kind of why they're playing the pick. Like, the ability to affect sides, especially on red side, where you're going to get that top lane counter pick and have 2 winning side lanes. This is why Winthrop feel like they're confident enough to play a comp that not a lot of people are willing to take because of how difficult it is to play sides, and it's really nice to see this collegiate squad execute it very well.
Yeah, when I got to talk to Artemis a couple of weeks ago, he said that the biggest thing that he is trying to teach his players is macro, because that is the difference. That is the biggest difference between players that are new to competitive and players that are already like kind of in the LCS. And so this strategy being employed right now, very, very interesting to see. And of course, you need the skilled players to do it as well, right? Winthrop were the only team to have all 5 of their players represented on our All-Pro ballots for qualifiers. Just shows top to bottom, there's just such incredible talent here on this roster.
Oh, Rhino's caught. He'll just take the chunk. This Denethor, he does have that Mega Bar close to stacking up and is rotating, but he's actually just going to take the base. They're going to wait for Redaction to show his mobility. Really playing aggressively. Yeah, they're going to get Rhino Flash. Well done. Really well done.
Also burns the ulti. That's a big tool, but now Winthrop may be in trouble. They one-shot Wakao as the shutdown goes the way of Icelandic. Both junglers will be traded as mobility will get the one on the back end. Very interesting situation now in a 4v4.
I got to be honest, I was not expecting for Lee Sin to get one shot like that. Good call from Ole Miss to find some blood going over. I don't know who picked up that kill, but a 1-for-1 at this point of the game. Not bad, and they'll be able to get in and take their own red buff, which, of course, at this point is global. So really big to secure those, especially before the Dragon fight that is upcoming. And as you highlighted earlier, Grapes, a soul is on the table for Winthrop.
They're starting to get some of those spikes. We can take another look at this play. Rhino just going really far. Another instance where he is out of the fight before he uses anything.
I really appreciate this from Mobility stepping up. I think Wakao, he tried to step up to make sure that he caught it early.
The rocket.
He could have walked a little bit further back. And that is kind of what enabled Uncle Sam to get in range to actually cast the Shockwave. 1-for-1 trade. Flash was burned on Lee Sin, not on Ole Miss, and given the game state, they're pretty happy trading out that 1-for-1.
Now the Shockwave is going to be available for Uncle Sam again as the Dragon is up at about 30 seconds. Right now the Cataclysm is not, but I think it is going to be a very close call for that being available when this objective is online. Remember, Soul here for Winthrop. That Ocean Soul makes things very hard for Ole Miss to play in the 5v5. Ooh. Teleport comes in from Sword, and they want to set things up quick.
I would have rather had Sword TP bot. I think brute forcing into Orianna's tough. Winthrop aren't really finding any angles here. And Ori and Jinx do have pretty big range advantage. So Ole Miss are kind of able to sit down in this river. Control wards are coming out from Winthrop to try and get vision, but it's being contested by Ole Miss.
Yeah, there comes Wakao. He was stuck in the pit. They find the kick on the Shogo. He has to flash away. No. Already out of the fight. 1 HP going to go down to mobility, and already Winthrop are on the board. They will trade their 80 carries though as Stray finds the shutdown, but it's still a numbers advantage for the Eagles. Chuki's going forward. Sword doing so much damage, but the dominance is popped. Stray going off in the 1v2. He finds himself a double kill before dropping the Sword. It is 2 dead for Winthrop. It is 3 dead for Ole Miss, and most crucially, the Dragon belongs to the Eagles.
I mean, Rhino's going to try and do something funky here, but there's no play, and a Realm Warp coming in. Sword, that's a freebie as he picks up Orianna, and Winthrop. What an angle. I mean, I was talking about sending Rise bot to try and get push and create an angle. You don't need it when you got Lee Sin being that mobile, Grapes.
And there comes Denethor. He's going to flash forward, try to find a last boomerang onto Rhino. It's a delayed ace, but an ace nonetheless here for Winthrop University as they make their way towards the Baron and a 5,000 gold lead.
Taking a look, I mean, I didn't see this angle from
He was stuck in the, he was in the bush in the Dragon Pit. He was just waiting there.
Wow, that's really, really nice from Wakao. Ends the fight really before it starts, removing Shogo, who had all the gold that Ole Miss has on his shoulders. I know it's a pretty even fight after that, but you take Jinx out of the equation that early when you're ahead, really no chance for the enemy team to get back in. And it's great assessment from Winthrop and a really nice execution from Wakao.
Baron on top of the Soul. We're going to look at this 1v1 again. Sword's 2 levels up at this point as well. Doing really good on this Rise, and I think this time it might result in a winning effort.
Oh, I mean, I gotta say, Winthrop, the game 1 was a bit dicey. This one seems a bit cleaner, Grapes, but we do still have some scaling elements on Ole Miss. I don't want to put my tinfoil cap on a little bit too much, but I don't think Ole Miss are 100% out of it. Jinx is at 3 items, even with Lucian. You can find a reset and run a fight from there.
It becomes harder and harder as well for mobility to get into these fights. We saw how quickly he got one-shot by Stray after Jinx already went down. So things get harder to execute, but right now the Baron buff is up for another 2 minutes. This is Winthrop's big opportunity to extend this lead to an insurmountable mark.
I mean, I think it's still going to be Winthrop favored. I'm just trying to give some love over to Ole Miss, see if they have any chance. I know game 1
still possible.
Really tough loss for them. They had a bigger lead than this and dropped the game. I will say Ocean Soul is kind of nice against the Ori when you do get outranged. You can always retreat. As we see Sword find a rather big chunk from his level 17 Rise
Ridiculous.
up 3 levels in this game. He's done a great job absorbing the lanes. And
oh
boy,
look at Chookies. He's dashing in onto Uncle Sam. That's the first kill already down. He will not actually die as the tower goes down before him. And now Sword might be a little bit out of position. He pops the Seraph shield, and he will not die. It's a double kill for the Rise, and just Shogo and Rhino are alive to try to save Ole Miss this season.
It's kind of fun seeing Rise sneak back in and pick Ainu. Sword 4, he's been damn good on it as another
he just
clean
got
up
one
for
shot.
Winthrop.
It's Shogo in a 1v4.
Oh.
The kick comes out from Wakao, and that is it. Winthrop win again against Ole Miss, just like they did in qualifier number 1. Ole Miss gets eliminated from the promotion tournament, and Winthrop's moving on to face off against Blue Water again.
A rematch of the OQ1 finals, I believe, if I did my homework, because that was the rematch that we had of round 1 here in our OQs. I think Winthrop and Blue Water both really stepped up today with how they played map, and props to Winthrop. I thought Winthrop played a really solid game. Also props to Ole Miss. This is a team for me that it's fun seeing them kind of improve throughout the season, and I know that we won't see them in Challengers League, but they're a threat to make top 4 in Seedall, and I would love to see Shogo have the opportunity to go for that three-peat, as that would be a crazy achievement in the collegiate system. But it wasn't Ole Miss's day. That game 1 was a tough loss, and weren't able to really get things going in game 2.
Yeah, the 2-0 is not indicative of what Ole Miss was doing all year, because they took so many they took so many big jumps from the start of the split to the end, and you know, not just Shogo was the one to step up for this team throughout the year. It was Stray, it was your Uncle Sam, who I, again, just want to praise for taking a lot of big leaps, but fortunately not enough, as Winthrop actually looked very, very good here in this best of 3, and hey, they're now getting to play against Blue Water, a team that they just beat, so things could look up for them.
Yeah, and I know that, you know, we have to say goodbye to Ole Miss, but props to Winthrop. I think their map play was fantastic, and I know against Blue Water, I saw them kind of make a couple weird plays. In game 1, they really bounced back. Game 1 of this series, they were down in the hole, and they really were able to band together as a group, hold strong, get the Aurelian Soul in the later portions of the game, and find that game 1 win, and then game 2 was really clean. This is a team where I think Rise is a pick that not many teams are playing in this tournament, but Sword's making a case that you have to almost deny this from him, as it's making the Ori blinds rather hard, and I think the way that Sword and, you know, the artist formerly known as Trickster, as I keep on liking to say, because I've known him for that for so long, the way that these two have been able to play off each other with this pick, they made it really uniquely strong for Winthrop. I think they have a good identity with how to play out the Rise, and curious to see what happens against Blue Water.
Yeah, I mean, it went one way in the qualifiers, it went another way here in the promotion tournament. This is the rubber match now between those two teams. Congratulations once again to Winthrop, who look very, very good on their path towards promotion. We're going to send it to a quick break. We'll be back with an interview with a member of the Eagles.
Introducing the new foot-long sidekicks at Subway. Try the warm and delicious foot-long cookie, foot-long pretzel, or foot-long churro.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Rally Cry post-game interview. We are here with the Winthrop University mid laner Sword after they stay alive in the promotion tournament with a 2-0 win over Ole Miss. Almost wasn't a 2-0 though, Sword. You want to hark back to that game one. You guys were down a lot. You were playing the scaling comp. Were you expecting to be able to come back, and what was it like in that room after you guys ended up winning?
During game one, our early game was pretty bad, so it was really tough to come back. Actually, they made like a couple of mistakes trying to end the game, and we just like thankfully outskilled them, and we were just relieved that we won the game one, because like in our mind we were supposed to beat them and it wasn't supposed to be this close, but we managed to take the game one win, so it was good.
Yeah, I mean, game one was crazy competitive. I think game two, you guys made it look a little bit more the way you expected. And I was really impressed with your Rise. Second time you pulled it out in this tournament. You had a lot of mid bans thrown at you. What's it like kind of digging deep into your pool and playing a pick that I've always known you for?
Yeah, right now, like, Rise is a meta, and they're banning all the good meta champs, right? So I had to pull out some picks from TSM Academy that I used to play, and that no one is familiar with. And I think it surprises a lot of teams. It will surprise a lot of teams this tournament.
It looked pretty good in that game number 2, and I guess talking about your previous experience at this tier 2 level, you know, you came back to mid lane here at Winthrop. What's that experience been like, and what has being with this university, you know, taught you, and what are some of the big things that you've learned since the last time you were playing mid over on TSM?
I think the vibes are great here because like everyone is like, we all like eat together and we go to classes together, so the vibes are good. Like, and in the academy days, it was like, it has a lot of pressure, so it was like kind of hard for me, but playing collegiate, it feels nice.
Yeah, it's been great, and I know that, you know, even in collegiate, I've seen you improve a lot in that scenario. But obviously, you are someone that I remember from the TSM Academy days. And what would it mean for you to just have this roster, you know, really make an ACL and be back for yourself as a 5-stack?
Yeah, I really miss playing in the academy, and we'll try our best to make it a tier 2 because, you know, like feeling of playing in competitive is really nice. So we'll try our best to make tier 2 this tournament.
Well, you just got a couple more series left until you're ended up promoting. Once again, congratulations, Sword. Before we let you go, any shout-outs you want to have before we wrap things up?
Just shout out to my teammates for playing well, and coach for drafting well, and my family and friends for watching the game, and you guys for casting our game too.
Thank you
Good
very
to
much.
catch you again, Sword. Yeah, it's good to see it.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you very much, Sword. Best of luck I think in a couple of days against Blue Water, and as you go throughout the rest of the promotion tournament. But I think that we gotta wrap things up here, Covey, with you know, our show coming to a close. 2 best of 3s, kind of, you know, going a little bit back and forth in the first series with our qualifier team winning, and you know, expectations kind of went out the roof after that one.
Yeah, I mean, I will say I'm a bit surprised still that we have Blue Water against Winthrop for the rematch, but it's important. This is a big best of 3, as if you win this, you have 1 best of 5 to try and make it into Challengers League. And this tournament, I mean, it's fast and furious. Tomorrow we have Lit versus CCG in that best of 5. I believe the Blue versus Winthrop is actually a best of 5 as well.
I think it's best of 5, yeah.
So whoever wins that, you get the right to face the loser. And I gotta say, I favor CCG tomorrow, but I think Lit looked really strong. And for me, Lit's biggest weakness in Challengers League was that sometimes they've had some games where they got blown out of lane. This is a team that actually plays and functions well together. After seeing Blue Waters and Winthrop and how these two teams play today, I really feel like the better team on the day one, just how they played as a 5-stack. And I think no matter what matchup we have for that lower bracket, it's going to be fun, as CCG could try and knock out 2 of the other top teams that we have from OQs, or you have a chance to make it a double promo from OQs in the Challengers League.
Oh man, I'm very excited for this best of 5 between Lit and CCG. Not only because we're promoting our first team in, but I mean, like just the firepower that we're gonna be having like all across the map is gonna be crazy. We have Dragoon there for Lit. Messi just had a great series that they played against Winthrop, in my opinion, and you know CCG they kind of have been a bit unstoppable. They've only dropped one game with Bradley on the roster, and that was that one that you see to the left of your screen against Ole Miss. And so, man, I think Lit could have an opportunity to stop them, but we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, I gotta say, I still really favor CCG in that. I think that Bradley and Instinct have been two of the best players in the tournament so far. And I'm excited to see them go up against Lit tomorrow, who I think everyone really counted them out coming into this tournament. And Lit did look good in that first series.
Yeah, and we're gonna be seeing that series tomorrow right here, back again at twitch.tv/LCS_challengers for another day of the promotion tournament. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you so much to you, Cubby, for being along with me for the ride. And shout out to our entire production team as well. We're gonna be rating APA, so make sure you give a literal LCS champion a follow and a watch as we will transition on over there. My name has been Grapes. Thank you so much for watching the promotion tournament, and we will see you tomorrow.